and welcome to beginner yoga. Let's get going. You don't need a block. You don't even need a mat. You don't need anything. You just need a floor, perhaps. I would say you could do it in a bed, but that might be a bit much. So find a space big enough for you to lie down in, and we'll start with a little bit of breathing on the back. Breathing can be one of the most intimidating parts of going into a yoga class, and really it doesn't need to be. You breathe every day successfully so far, right? So most comfortable for most people is to start with the knees up and the feet planted. And you can even knock your knees together and take your feet apart. See if you can settle yourself reasonably comfortable into the floor. And of course, if this does not work for you, sit against a wall, sit in a chair. Take a deep breath in through your nose, open your mouth, empty your exhale. And closing your eyes if you're comfortable. Do it again. Big breath in, making a little sound. And then just taking a moment to recognize the breathing that's already happening, letting your body become a little bit more aware of something in the now, like the feeling of the mat beneath you, how your breath moves. If it's too uncomfortable on your back because of belly or boobs or any other reason, again, just sit instead. You can even stand. And start to let the breath deepen. So hand on the belly, a hand on the upper belly, and a hand on the lower belly, and then trying to fill the belly with breath all the way up through the nose, and then breathing out through the nose. Now we know anatomically it's not the belly that's breathing. A diaphragmatic breath feels like belly breathing. In and out through the nose as big as you can, slow as you can. Inhale, exhale. You might notice where you hold tension here as you breathe. And this is the first time we're going to apply the reminder of compassion. I like to set an intention for my practice. Self compassion is always a good place to start. Or becoming better acquainted with that part of you that witnesses. As you feel ready to start to move, bring your feet close together and let your knees start to come in. Rock a little side to side. I've heard this described as the poor man's massage, so get a little bit of that action happening. Let that breath keep moving through the body. I'm going to create a little sound, but you definitely don't need to. And traditionally, belly breathing does not have a sound. You're just moving your legs around a little bit. We'll take a relatively quick twist, so arms to a T, letting your knees fall to the right. Let them come all the way to the ground if they can. You can even put a pillow or a block between them if that helps you feel better in your back. And then breathe into your spine. Breathe into your belly, which will breathe into the back body. Go ahead, take one more breath there. Okay, coming back through center, letting your knees come back in, and then switching sides, slowly lowering to the other side. Trying to let your feet relax down too. Pick your head up, turn it right. If you've chosen to sit or stand, you can twist where you are. You don't need to come down to the floor. Let that breath feel slightly more intentional than the breath you carry around every day. A little bit bigger, a little bit deeper. Good. Since you're already on your left side, let your right arm come over and to meet your left. And gracefully or awkwardly, however you get there, make your way up. We'll come to hands and knees on the mat. Again, you can grab a pillow or something for under your knees if your knees are uncomfortable. Good. I'll offer some chair yoga on this channel. So if this one's starting to feel too much pressure in those places, check out the chair yoga options. But we'll do a little cat-cow here. So hands flat, heart melts, shoulders back. Good. Exhaling, going the other way, letting the background, letting the head come in. Keep remembering to breathe. Feeling the shoulders back. Okay, letting the spine round. Noticing where the back moves, where it doesn't move. And again, we're not coming here for judgment, right? This does not need to be another place you judge yourself harshly. So shake it out as best you can. And then we're trying to find a place that feels like a table. So I call this a hammock. This is like a rainbow. And you're trying to find a table. Good. And then with your table pose, lots of options. Step one, extend your right leg, keep your toes tucked under. You could go to a different spot, right leg lifted, staying there. You might keep your right toes down and extend your left arm. And you might extend your arm and your leg at the same time. Breathe. Any version is a good version. So find the version that works for your body today. From the place of compassion, we can start to offer ourselves a little more grace. Like you did the hard thing. You turned on the video, you hit play. You might be doing some of it, I hope. Good. Now getting shaky and a little uncomfortable, normal. Let yourself do that. That's called the edge. Breathe. Push into that right hand, push into that left knee. Take one more breath. Awesome. Drop your left hand down. Step your right foot forward. Good. Walk your right foot to center. Bring both hands up to the right thigh. We're going to keep this first one really simple. Plug the right hip back. Inhale your arms up. If your shoulders are tight, instead of going wide with the arms like a field goal post, bring those arms forward. Plug the right hip back. I like to think you're taking baby Simba over the pride land, right? So you're showing him off to the pride, not over your head. Because a lot of us, that's just too intense. We start to lose the integrity in the shoulders. Now push down through your left knee, lift through the sides of the waist. Breathe. Your gaze is slightly up. Keep breathing into your belly. Good. You might stay here, or you might take your hands down, tuck your back toes under, and lift your back knee up, hugging in for stability. Heel up is going to be a balancing pose. This is called crescent warrior. If that's too much on the balance, but you want to be off the knee, then just hop that back foot forward and drop the heel. This is a variation of warrior one. You still want your hips to mostly be facing that shorter edge of your mat, if you have a mat. Right, so using the visual cues of my body, but not doing your best, hopefully, not to compare. Because comparing doesn't really help you. Okay, one more breath. Right butt cheek might be talking. Mine is. Good. One more breath. Good. Take the arms out to a T. We're going to go warrior two. You might need to take a break. You can always just shake it out, wiggle it awkwardly. No one can see you. Okay. You can see me, but no one can see you. And then take that right toe, those right toes, and turn them towards the short edge of your mat or your imaginary mat, wherever you're finding yourself. Okay. Left toes to that longer edge. And then arms back up to a T. Your shoulders are tight. Some people feel better flipping. I got a real funky left shoulder, so some days one way is better than the other. And then working to put depth into your right leg. If your right leg's on fire, take a break, go back in. You don't have to throw out the baby with the bathwater here, you know? We'll get to nitty gritty later about alignment, but for now, get your body generally in the shape and know that it's good enough. It's good right here. Take a breath. Good. One more. Come on. One more. Woo. Straighten that right leg. Shake it out a little bit. Step to the top of the mat. Shake it out. Good. Inhale your arms up. Look up. Taking a side bend to the right. Back up through center. Switch sides. Side bend left. Good. Back up through center. Good. Exhale, fold. Maybe separating your feet up to as wide as the mat, as narrow as about 2 fist distance, and then bend your knees quite a bit. Somewhere along the way, we learned in gym class that we're supposed to have straight legs. It's a lie. Don't believe it anymore. Bend your knees. Let your head hang. Grab either elbow and breathe. You want to hinge from the hip here. So make room for your belly, your boobs, whatever you need to. You can take as much width as you want. And make room for your hamstrings, your calves, whatever's tight here. Good. Let yourself hinge. One more breath. If this hurts your back, you can always go halfway up. I'm sorry I'm telling you that now. Good. And then exhale, gracefully or not, step yourself back to table. Okay, it doesn't matter how many ways what do you got to use to get down, get back to the mat. Get your knee support if you need it. Take a couple cat cows. It's a reset. How's the breathing going? You can find a lot of reasons to not do the things we know are good for us. Me too. So I want you to give yourself credit that you're here. Okay. Shake your wrists out a little bit if they're getting tender. Adjust whatever you feel like you got to adjust. Okay. And then here we are, left side. Left leg extends back. Remember, you can do here, toe down. You can do toe down, right arm up. You can do just the leg. You can add it all on. Find your breath. You're doing great. The body shaking is a reminder that muscles are getting some notion that you'd like them to work. So let yourself shake. It's not meaning you can't do it. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't stay. It doesn't mean you should get out. It's just information that your body's giving you. Take another inhale. Awesome. Drop the right hand if you have it in the air. Good. Step your left foot up. Ooh. I like sound effects. I think they help. Walk that foot back to center a little bit so it's just about out of the hip. Good. Might get a little guest here. No, my kitty's not coming in. All right. Extend the arms. Animals, I think, love yoga. So if you've got animals at home, I've got a lot of them. Once you start to shift your energy by doing this practice, they tend to love it. Relax your shoulders. Good. Feel like you're pushing down through your right knee. You're pushing into your left heel. You're squeezing your legs together. You're relaxing your shoulders. You've got Simba over the Pride Land. And if you're ready to get up off your knee, tuck the toes, lift the knee. Gaze is up, but not at the cost of the neck. So check in. If you're flopping your head back, I'd rather you look forward. If you're feeling off kilter, drop your back heel and shorten your stance. Just like all bodies are good bodies, all postures are good postures if they work for you, if you're working it in the way that makes sense for you. No hierarchy here. If you're doing the thing, find the compassion, find the breath. If your arms are falling off, see if you can keep them up, and if you can't, put them down. Good. We're going to go to warrior two. I just realized I'm going to be facing the back of the mat, so I'm going to step out, but you don't need to. Find the left toes forward, right toes long edge, arms to a T. That's my handsome figgy. Remember, left toes now facing that short edge of the mat, right toes to that long edge of the mat. Legs should be shaky, arms are shaky, you're doing things, you're making blood move, you're feeling uncomfortable, you're breathing. One more breath. Good, nice job. Straighten that leg out. Let's turn both feet to point to the long edge of the mat. One more standing posture before we close it down. I like to wiggle, check in with where you are, wiggle your knees, and then go ahead and try to take a forward fold here. You may end up halfway down. Again, if your back is tender, a halfway fold is a good fold. Good. You might also choose to go a little bit deeper, working to go towards the ground. Trying to avoid the locked out knees. Keep the knees bent, push through the heels, let your head hang. Big belly breathing. Good. One more breath. Nice job. Lengthen the spine. That means come up halfway. Any which way, you're going to come back down to the mat. So dropping your knees, coming back onto your back body, all the way back down. Just as we started, using whatever support you need to. One last posture before we wrap it up. Letting your feet come to the floor, knees bent just as we started. Arms at your sides, shoulder blades on your back. And then when you're ready, pressing the elbows into the ground and your heels into the ground. Inhale to lift. Feet are about as wide as your hips. Exhale, lower. Good. Do that again. Inhale, lift. Try not to squeeze the butt. You can work the butt gently by pushing through the heels. Try not to let the butt grip center. It's never a good look or a good action necessarily. Can create some low back pain for sure. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. If you're here because of low back pain, go ahead and check out my low back pain videos. I've got a couple tricks that are go-tos. You've already done one of them, that cat cow. Good. You can either keep lifting and lowering or take one hold, lifting. You can keep your arms pushing into the floor to help elevate the back. Some of us might interlace the fingers underneath the back if you have enough shoulder mobility. And again, if you don't, cool. It's just information. You don't have to apply meaning to it. Take a breath. Take another one or two. Good. Wherever you are, dropping your hips back down to the floor. Pulling those knees back into the body. You might pick the head up and round in. Good. Then dropping your back down to the floor. Taking your feet back to the floor. Either staying here as we started if this makes your back feel best, or extending your legs. I'm going to offer Shavasana, which is the rest pose. Palms face up. You can, of course, skip it, though I don't recommend that. Your nervous system deserves some rest. You could choose to meditate now. You could choose to pause so that you can lay here for a long time. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, empty, and release your exhale. Give yourself permission to rest for at least a minute. When you're ready to reawaken, wiggle fingers and toes to invite gentle sensation back into the body. Find that heart of compassion again if you can, just a moment maybe to place a hand on the heart and give yourself some credit. So a hand on the heart, compassion saying, you did it. A hand on the belly, it was action. That's your action center that said, do the thing. So good job taking a moment to settle into that, breathe into those spaces in the body. Open your mouth. Good. Start to draw those knees back in. Any way you need to get up, typically we go to the one side or the other. I'll go left. And then using your hands to gently guide yourself up. Coming to a close with the palms at the heart in a sign of gratitude and reverence, both to the community that exists, the global community of yoga practitioners, also the lineage of the teachers and the practices that have allowed us to meet this practice now, right? To find you here. Gratitude, most importantly, to yourself. You did it, you showed up. I invite you to take that compassion with you, that grace with you the rest of the day, and come back. Om Shanti. Nice job, you guys. See you next time. Awesome work today. Good job showing up. Please take a second to like and subscribe my page, and also tell me what you want to see next time. What kind of classes do you need? What are you looking for? Lastly, check out my podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts, Becoming Lit AF. All kinds of cool conversations. I'd love to have you there too.